Welcome to Prime Example. This is Cassie. So, on today's episode, I want to talk about Ashanti and Nelly rekindling their romance. So, a lot of people are pretty excited to see Nelly and Ashanti back together. There's been a lot of comparisons happening between the way he looks when he's with Ashanti versus the way he looks when he's with or when he was with Chantel Jackson, which is Floyd Mayweather's ex, and that's the woman that Nelly dated when him and Ashanti broke up. And if you don't know, him and Ashanti dated, I want to say maybe 7 years ago, for about 10 years, in which she openly spoke about wanting to get married. And within those 10 years, he didn't propose to her. And I believe one of the things that I remember being reported after they broke up was him owing her money. But when they broke up, he was next seen with Miss Jackson. That was his next serious relationship, seemingly. And he did propose to Miss Jackson. But since him and Ashanti's gotten back together, women, for the most part, I want to say, um, started making these posts comparing the fact that he seems more happy and easygoing in his pictures with Ashanti compared to Miss Jackson. You know, they say he's not smiling in the photos with Miss Jackson. And I see this situation a lot different than what most of the internet seems to. I don't necessarily think it's a good thing for him to seem so easygoing in his pictures with Ashanti. Like, yes, it's nice to have a smile. Who complains about that, right? But in a situation of dating, of a relationship, of wanting a marriage, in some cases, a person could be too easygoing. So to me, in his pictures with Ashanti, it gives, I want you in my life, but we're friends. In the pictures with Miss Jackson, in my opinion, the way I see it is he's more serious. He has to step up and be a man in that situation. So I feel like women, in a way, have this situation all wrong. They have it backwards, really. In his photos with Miss Jackson, Nelly is in his masculine. In his photos with Ashanti, I'm not really seeing that. In one instance, when she presented him with the car, you know, it looks to me like he has the excitement that the woman should be experiencing in the relationship. So I think women are confused here. in that just because he's smiling in his photos, that he's happier with Ashanti. A man has to be challenged. Yes, he's smiling, but a man has to be challenged. In his photos with Chantel, no, he looks more serious. And in a way, that's the way it needs to be. A man needs to be challenged. And I think that's what Chantel did. He had to present himself in a different way. You know, he looked like a protective, masculine man, in my opinion, in his pictures with Chantel. Whereas with Ashanti, you know, it looks fun, like it looks kitty and childish, like nothing too serious is going on. And I can't necessarily say that's a good thing. So, and that's just my take on it. Most people don't really see that whole situation like that. So yes, I do think he's happy to have Ashanti back around, because why wouldn't he? From my understanding, she lent him a lot of money. You know, I just get the impression that he likes her, he wants her in his life, but I don't know if the reason he wants her in his life is for marriage. If someone has to date you for 10 years to decide you're worth marrying, I don't know if you should want to marry that person. And I recently saw another interview she did with Tamron Hall, but Tamron was asking her about her and Nelly rekindling their relationship. And she said she saw him at a performance or something like that. And prior to rekindling this relationship, she hadn't spoken to Nelly in at least 7 years. And all this man did was see her on the stage and walk up to her and go in for a hug. And she was arms wide open. And now she buying him cars and stuff. You know, I mean, that's crazy to me. So yeah, I think that people, and that's where women mess up a lot of times, especially black women. And I think women are living vicariously through Ashanti in a way, because in their mind they want to believe their ex wants them back, or they're the best thing that ever happened to their ex. So they're all for this relationship with Nelly and Ashanti, because they're putting themselves in Ashanti's shoes with some guy who they still might have lingering feelings for, and for some reason they're thinking he still have the same feelings for them too, or he want them too. So they kind of living vicariously through her. So yeah, just because he's smiling in his pictures with Ashanti, that isn't necessarily a good thing. He was more he wasn't not necessarily smiling in his pictures with Chantel, but I do believe he took her more serious than Ashanti. He proposed to her in a very short period of time. And I don't think if she would have left him, I think he would have married her. So that's just my opinion on the whole thing. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe.